In what was one of the warmest winters since records began, races were cancelled here for the second time in 5 years.
We had no top-to-bottom skiing. There's been years where it's been late. This year that just never happened.
The National Weather Service shows a significant decrease of snowfall at 1,300 metres for the next 200 years in a worst-case scenario.
Dave Kaufman here, on faculty in the Parks, Recreation and Tourism program in the Rubenstein School at UVM.
My name is Jimmy Cochran. I'm the general manager now at Cochran Superior.
It's Rick Paradise. I'm a member of the faculty here at the environmental program at the University of Vermont. And I'm also the director of UVM's Natural Areas System, which includes Mount Mansfield.
Well, snowmaking has been the necessary solution for the ski industry in the East for many, many years. Since snowmaking was first invented back in the early 50s and grew it through the 60s and was perfected into the 70s, snowmaking has been literally the foundation of the Eastern ski industry, enabling earlier starts to the season, later operation in the season, and consistent operation through the season, so many of which have bumps in the weather, which has gotten consistently more roller coaster-like.
It's very different than natural snow. It's really durable. I mean, you can see there's still a lot of snow on the hill. And after Winter Storm Stella, there was a ton of snow, but that light, fluffy snow isn't nearly as durable as the man-made snow. It seems the graphs I've seen, the numbers I've seen, the lows, when you look at those low dips, their average temperatures are rising as well, but not nearly as much as the high temps and not nearly as much as the median. We still get those swings, right? They might be followed by 60 degrees and rain for a week, but we seem to still have long periods of time to make snow. And ultimately, that's what snowmaking needs. You don't need 25 degrees, you need 5 degrees.
Today, snowmaking is as cost-effective as it has ever been through the use of electric compressors, and so it's cleaner than it ever was before, and more efficient compressors, so producing more energy than they ever did before.
The technology increases, the efficiency gains, which are tremendous. I mean, the newest snow guns we have here compared to the guns that I grew up seeing, they're more than 10 times as efficient. You can make snow for 1/10 the cost that those things required. We're looking at spending roughly 10% of the gross revenue goes directly towards snowmaking. If it was 10 times that, it wouldn't be possible.
And even the ski areas out west have increased their snowmaking capacity to compensate for more regular changes, ups and downs in the weather, which I think is one of the things of climate change that is becoming more obvious, is that while the weather patterns may not prevent snow from falling and create more rain events, it's really become more of a roller coaster. We get cold, we get warm. We get cold, we get warm. And so the biggest challenge is making snow and then praying it doesn't run down the mountain. It's one of the things that drives the price of the lift tickets, and that's not going to change. Snowmaking costs a lot of money.
Clear-cutting trails, maintaining open habitat on a mountainside where the predominant native habitat is forest cover can lead to negative impacts: soil erosion, water contamination, sedimentation, siltation, habitat fragmentation, things of that nature. The trails that are built create a lot of edge An edge habitat is beneficial for edge species, but it isn't beneficial for species that require intact forest cover.
So everything we do, if we want to cut down a tree, if we want to do anything, it has to run through Act 250. So it was when we put in the snowmaking system 9 years ago that we first tripped Act 250. Act 250 there's criteria, right? There's a list of criteria, and you just have to show, okay, for this criteria, you're, I don't know, endangered species. Here's the endangered species we think we're going to affect with this project. Hopefully it's none. In this case it was none, right? And then it's up to them to decide if your plan is adequate, or if something else needs to be done, or if the whole project can't happen because of that.
I mean, everything from creating ponds for snowmaking, to lifts, to the placement of lift towers and infrastructure, to lodges, to the real estate development, the golf courses, a lot of the ancillary stuff. All that, comes into play when thinking about, can a ski area serve conservation goals and objectives?
There's definitely been talk in the town in the past 6 months to a year about this piece of land being a wildlife corridor, and it's a contiguous forest block, I think they call it. The ski area it's not really a natural thing. I mean, it is, you're cutting down trees, you have this field that should be forest that you ski on in the winter, and there's snow guns, and a snowcat in the winter drives up and down it and gets mowed in the summer. To me, that's not a natural process. And so if you're really interested in maintaining a contiguous forest block, I don't see the ski area sort of being that. And that makes me a little bit nervous that would be something that could constrain us in the future. That we can minimize it and be smart about it and be efficient with it, but there is always going to be some effect, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm...
Definitely.
The community and the culture of outdoor recreation, whether it's skiing or mountain biking or cross-country skiing or snowshoeing, hiking, all this stuff, that really defines this area, I think. And that's the thing that that scares me about climate change, is that is what could go away, that we could lose that culture and lose that sense of identity that we share.
And so they were given, I think, pretty attractive leases and opportunities to develop on public lands, with the rationale that it was a public good to have economic development in an area of the state, or during a time of the state's history when the economy was suppressed. And so they do work in tandem. Conservation agencies and organizations and ski areas do work cooperatively in many cases to try to advance conservation measures.
Ski industry accounts for a huge chunk of Vermont's economy. Not only the skiers on the mountains, but they're sleeping in lodges, they're eating in restaurants, they're buying gas at gas stations, they're shopping in stores, and so that multiplier effect through the economy is tremendous. If that were to shrink, it would have an impact on the economy in Vermont. You can look back to last winter. We had a crappy winter. Rooms and meals tax was off. That means the legislature doesn't have as much money to work with. The ski industry is critically important to Vermont's economy, as are all winter sports and summer sports. And Vermont runs to a great extent on recreation. And so every piece of that recreation economy is important, the ski industry probably being at the top of that chain.
I work here representing the University of Vermont on Mount Mansfield, along with Stowe Mountain Resort, the Vermont Department of Forest and Parks and Recreation, and the Green Mountain Club, not just for downhill skiing, but for outdoor recreation, backcountry activities, hiking, backcountry skiing, backpacking, researchers, educators on one of the most iconic peaks in New England, Mount Mansfield, the highest mountain in the state of Vermont.
People are in Burlington looking at green grass or mud or whatever and not thinking about skiing, then it's pretty worthless, right? And that's where I think the at least for me, the fear in the coming decades lies, that the culture will change.
Everybody's going to have to fall into patterns that offer well-planned, weatherproof activities year-round to compensate for perhaps in the future more off days on the mountain. But you know, with machine-made snow, I'm still planning to ski next Monday.